This is Bad Bob, the shade tree mechanic. Today I am working on my 2000 Toyota Corolla CE model, and this would be applicable for year models 98 through 02. And what I'm doing today is replacing the PCV valve, the PCV hose, and the crankcase breather hose. Now, PCV stands for positive crankcase ventilation. And what the PCV valve does is it uses the engine's vacuum to pull air through the crankcase and reintroduce it back into the intake manifold system. So let's go over here to my workbench / picnic table, and I'll show you my tools and material. So here you've got a 7/8 inch open end wrench, and then you've got a 10mm socket with extension and ratchet handle, and then you have a large pair of needle nose pliers. So over here, let me show you my old PCV hose, and as you can see, it's got cracks on both ends, and it's worse on this end. You can see the cracks in there, plus the hose is hard as a rock. That was causing a vacuum leak. And then the crankcase breather hose, as you can see right there, see if I can zoom it in, it's got a very large crack in it, and that was causing a major vacuum leak. So let's go over here to the vehicle and I'll show you what I did. First thing you want to do is remove the plastic cover to get access to the hoses, and you've got two 10mm bolts here. That's where the socket with the ratchet handle and extension come in, and then you have two fasteners there and one there. So let's just go ahead and remove that, get it out of the way. And here is your PCV valve, and it's a metal PCV valve, and that's where I use the 7/8 inch open end wrench. And if your PCV valve is plastic, just a tech tip, some cars have plastic PCV valves, I would use a deep well socket, but here 7/8 inch open end wrench worked just fine. Then you want to back off your clip there and pull your hose off, and then remove and replace your PCV valve. Pretty straightforward. Now, PCV hose is a little more work to it. It's kind of tricky because first thing you want to do is drain some coolant, some antifreeze, and you just want to drain it down far enough to get below where this radiator hose is, because you're going to disconnect your radiator hose and use your needle nose pliers for that snap ring. And then you want to stuff a clean shop rag in both of them for preventing additional spillage. And then what I did was I tied it off to the side, because the PCV hose runs underneath this metal cradle and your radiator hose is in the way there. So the other end of the PCV hose connects to the intake manifold, and it's kind of tricky. That's where your long needle nose pliers will come in, and then you remove and replace your PCV hose. And then the next thing you want to do is reconnect your radiator hose and then top off your antifreeze, and then that completes that part of it. Now the next part is your crankcase breather hose, and it kind of works with the PCV valve. And what it does is it vents engine blow-by fumes or piston pulse pressure that the PCV valve vacuum overflow can't handle. And it connects right here to the valve cover, and then down here to the throttle body. Now those little snap rings on that hose and your PCV hose, little snap rings there. You want to be careful not to drop those or lose those, because I had to get the hoses from a dealer, and because you don't want to use hoses from a junkyard, and they didn't have the snap rings come with it, so you have to reuse your snap rings. So let's go ahead and crank it up and see how she runs. There you go. Purrs like a kitten. So, in summary, you got remove and replace your PCV valve, remove and replace your PCV hose, and then remove and replace your crankcase breather hose. So, there you go. This is Bad Bob, the Shade Tree Mechanic. We'll catch you on the flip-flop.